Hello and welcome. I thought I'd just turn the camera on this morning. We'll see when these ever come out, because I wanted to do something today, and I thought, well, this is something I could show the people, show my peeps. So nobody says that anymore. I sound like an old lady. Anyway, I've been playing around with doing more dyeing, and I've got some finished things I'll show you in a minute. Mastered might be a little pushing the envelope there, but I'm very comfortable dyeing cotton fabric, and I've done lots of different ice dyeing and low immersion water dyeing of cotton, and I don't do it as often as I'd like to anymore. Someday I'll have a dye studio area set up and I'll be able to do a lot of it. But, and then just recently I have started to learn how to use acid dyes on wool, and I've done yarn, and I've actually done a lot more yarn than I've shown you. And I've done some roving, which that's what I did this week, was roving and felt, which was kind of cool. So the one thing I haven't successfully dyed, I'm going to say that, I have dyed silk with there's two. If you're new to dyeing, there's more than basically two, but the two that I use are either Procyon fiber reactive dyes that you use on cellulose fibers, plant-based fibers, and then there are acid dyes that you use on protein fibers, silk, wool, hair, that kind of leather, things like that. So that's very short. It's not going to be a tutorial. I'm just farting around and figuring it out right now. So, but silk, I've tried with Procyon dyes. You can dye them with Procyon dyes, and I've gotten some pretty results. So anyway, I've gotten a lot more comfortable with the acid dyes. And acid dyes, it just means it needs some kind of acid to fix the dye with the fiber. So that can be citric acid, which I use quite often, I actually like, or vinegar. I'm just doing vinegar today. But silk is something I wanted to be able to dye and get, deep, pretty colored results. Now, the other thing I'm trying to do is I did another dye project that I did not film, and I mixed up a lot of liquid dyes for it, and I still have them left over, and they don't stay viable, really long. I still haven't found my microphones. I've misplaced them, so I apologize if the sound is bad. Cass keeps walking through the kitchen, and he's driving me nuts because it makes sound. So I apologize for that too. Anyway, so it just takes acid. So I just put vinegar in this warm water that I've been soaking the silk in. And then I have this little thing I found at a thrift store ages ago. It's a little Pyrex type Corning glass thing. And I've used it for making soap, and I've used it for making other things. So it's dedicated, it's not in my kitchen. It's dedicated to craft things only. All right, so I'm gonna try dyeing some silk, because why not? I have the dye mixed up and all the things. So what I'm gonna do, that's already soaking in vinegar. You probably won't need more vinegar. We'll see. So I had a difficult time finding any tutorials on exactly how to do this. Lots of beautiful silk painting videos, which I've tried in the past, and I was really bad at it. So I never tried it again. But just dyeing silk fabric with acid dyes. So maybe I will make an official tutorial at some point on this, but that's not what this is, because I'm still kind of farting around and figuring it out. So I'm just gonna go with 3 dyes. And you see I put out down a towel, an old beach towel. I have been really bad about protecting my countertops because, frankly, I don't care. These counters are awful. They've been here for 40, 50 years, and they're not even, and I keep thinking, well, you ruin them enough, eventually you can replace them. I don't know if that'll happen, but, so it's an eclectic mess around here. All right, so this is how I'm going to do this, because I don't know what I'm doing. And the concept is basically the same. You need heat, you need acid, and you need dye, and then you need the material you're going to dye. That's kind of where I'm going with this. And there's a million different ways to do it. And I was going to use this bowl, but then I looked on the bottom, it says, no, don't microwave it. So I can't use that one. So I'm going to put about that much hot water in this bowl. And then I'm going to start by, so the three colors I'm using, not that it matters, are Plum Dandy, Deep Purple, and Sapphire Blue. They're all from Dharma. And before I put the fabric in, I'm going to start by putting I think I'm going to start with just a teaspoon of each color. And I'm going to kind of pour it like in a section and not stir it. I mean, it's spreading throughout the water even as I do that, but maybe it'll stay somewhat separated. We'll see. It doesn't matter. They're analogous colors. They're shades of blue and purple. So they're going to mix. I mean, I want them to mix anyway, but I'm not trying to make another color. Oh, I didn't put gloves on. I don't care. Okay, so now I just don't want spots. Okay. I'm going to take this fabric that's been soaking in the vinegar water, and I kind of want to have a little purple dye in that finger, so I'm a little, I want to do like a scrunchy thing. There we go. So I'm going to put it in here and just push it down in. Squish, 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 squish. Trying to get the air pockets out, because you know, what do they make parachutes out of? Silk. So it's kind of hard to get the air pockets out. Now that I have done that, I'm going to take my same colors. I don't remember exactly. I can kind of tell by the, I think this was the blue, this was the plum, and that was the purple. So I'm going to shift them over. I'm going to put the blue. Ooh, these got separated. I couldn't take that into consideration. Oh well, we'll see what it does. There. Oh, that has vinegar in it. Shit. Okay, doesn't matter. Yes, it does. I don't want to contaminate my dye stock with any vinegar. So, and then this I think is the deep purple, which I don't know. We'll put that over here. And I've learned not to freak out when my dark purple looks brown when I first put it on. It shifts. And then I'm going to put this Plum Dandy. See, that's the other problem. These dyes are going to start to separate the longer they sit, especially the blues. They're really kind of hard to mix up once they get cold. Okay. I really want some of this blue, but I don't like how it's got the crystals. Okay, we'll go with that. And then I'm going to put a little more hot water on top. And that'll probably help that blue. Yeah, that's going to help those blue crystals to redo their thing. Okay, that's pretty good. Now this little dish, I'm trying to see if it's got a name on it. I think it's corny, but I'm not sure. It's oven safe and stovetop safe and microwave safe. I'm not sure how I'm going to go about heat setting this. And I don't mind if it has some whites, you know, white marbling, because it's scrunched in this small pot for the size of fabric it is. All right, that's pretty good. I don't want to squish it more, because I don't want to mix up the colors too much. Now I have to decide, is that what I want? Just those three purpley blue colors? Or do I want to add kind of like a complementary color, a little yellow or whatever, or hot pink? No, I don't want to add hot pink. a yellow or a green that would do kind of browns and golds in there. Not right now. So I think what I'm going to do is 3 minutes in the microwave. Let's see how that does. I have a really small, crappy microwave, so let's see if this will fit in there. And I don't think I have the ability. Can that rotate around without hitting the sides? Well, we'll find out. Let's stand here and get brain cancer. Yeah, that's what I thought. Just gonna hit the sides. Okay, let's see if that helps. It like just kinda, oh, no, it's off its track. Jeez Louise, okay. Let's see that. Probably not the right size bowl for this project in the microwave. Alright, we're not going to do the microwave because it's not working. It's hitting the sides and I don't want it to like, yeah. So I'm going to put it on the burner, turn the burner on medium, and I'm going to get like a piece of tin foil, aluminum foil, and just let that, I think I have enough water in there, yeah, basically steam set. I think I could also let it sit in just that hot water with the dye, and then slowly let it sit till it cools. See how much dye it absorbs, and then steam set it in my steamer basket. I could do that too. I don't know. There's like a million different ways of doing it, and I don't. Again, as long as you get acid, dye, acid, fiber, and heat, steam, something combined, you're gonna get dye that sticks. I know, we try to make it seem so much more difficult than it really is. Now what do I do with this vinegar water? As little speckles of undissolved blue dye in it. What kind of throwaway do I have to put in there? Not really anything right now. All right, well, that's been my dyeing experiment. We'll come back and we'll see how that turned out. But let me show you the ones that I didn't film the process, but just show you my results, because that's always fun, right? Right, okay, let's go. All right, so these are a couple rovings that I did. This one is an 8-ounce. I think they're both the Corriedale tops. And this is just like a nice soft neutrals. Not really my wheelhouse, but when I go to knit something, I'm more likely to want something like this than something like this, depending on what I'm knitting. But this, I think this is half of a 8-ounce Corriedale top that I had left over from another project. And again, I'm just trying to use up dye stock. Did not go the way, and I also was trying to get lighter colors because I keep getting really dark colors. Obviously, at some point, I put deep purple in there because, of course, I did. All right, let me show you the other things that are in the other room. So we'll pause and we'll go in the other room. Okay, so here are my felt squares, felted wool squares. And these two were in the same pan together. This was my original piece that I put in the pan. And it came out pretty much what I was looking for. I wanted kind of a wildflower meadow. I wanted shades of green with some pops of pinks and purples. And then there was a lot of blue and green dye left in the pan, so I threw this piece in just to mop it up, and I sprinkled with a spoon bits of gray. So it's like a mottled green gray. These are all a little lighter than I would like, but learning process. The next tray were my purples, but I started with a gray, and I just put gray dye in, and I dyed 2 pieces all gray, and then I put my shades of blue and purple in and stirred them around and swooshed them around and got these kind of mottled purple. And then again, there was extra, I put too much dye in for the one little square of fabric, so I put a second square in to absorb the rest of the dye and got a lighter shade of the same thing. And I like it a lot. Then this one was pinks. Oh, you got the purple behind it. It was hot pink or pink orchid, which might have been I don't know if that's a Dharma or not, and sunflower yellow. And then I think I might have sprinkled a little bit of fawn or green or something in there to kind of give it some darker spots. But yep. And then these 3 were all in the same pan, and they were scrunched rather than flat. And they were kind of a experiment. I kept one at one end of the pan with more of the sea spray or sage green. And then these, I added more brown. Now, some of the brown, of course, came up here into this one, but I tried to keep this out of the brown dye as much as possible because I wanted to go kind of for a forest floor modeled look. So that's what I got, and I am pretty happy with them. I do not have a project in mind yet for these. I love working with wool felt. So I'm not real keen on this particular felt. It's a little thin for my liking. It's probably great for like rug hooking, or I'm not sure. And the nice thing of dyeing wool felt is you don't have to worry about the fabric felting when you like add too hot of water or too cold of water, because you want it to felt more. So I didn't really want to go through the work of fulling it more and getting it denser, because that's a whole other process. So, I mean, I could throw them through the washing machine on a hot thing and tumble them with the dryer balls and see if I can get them felted down thicker. I guess it all depends on what the intended use is, but I'm not real thrilled with this felt, and I can't remember. I think it's from Dharma. Pretty sure it was from Dharma. So I'm still on the lookout for 100% wool felt that's denser. Back in the olden days when my kids were little and I was kind of Waldorfing raising them, did a lot of stuff with wool felt. It was a nice, thick, dense wool felt that I would get from different Waldorf suppliers. And that's what I'm looking for. But let me show you, just so happens to be in this chair. This is an older project doing embroidery on wool felt. And that all those circles are different wool felts with embroidery stitches on them. And then the background fabric is a wool felt, but it's more of a woven, like an upholstery weight wool, or I can't remember. But you can see I machine bubble quilted it, so it's got batting behind here. So it's got a lot of texture. I really love that pillow. It's kind of a weird, it obviously collects, being in my sewing room might not be the best place for it because it collects a lot of cat hair and threads. But I love a little sampler thread work, and that's what I like to use wool felt for, is hand stitching, and that is a little thin. So I'll figure it out. I'll do something with it, but I'm on the lookout. So if anybody knows where to get undyed, natural, 100% wool felt that is sturdy, is can't see through it, thick. I've had some that's almost too thick. And I want real felt. I don't want felted fulled. Actually, it's the technical term, but people call it felted, like wool fabric. I have some of that too, because there was a time where I would go to thrift stores on like Dollar Day, back when you could buy a wool sweater or a cashmere sweater at a thrift store for a couple bucks. I don't think you can do that anymore. I think some of these online vintage clothing resellers, which are great because we're keeping that stuff out of, we're reusing and it's sustainable, and I'm all about it. But it just, if you're trying to thrift wool sweaters, plus now I live in Southern Alabama, so I don't find cashmere and wool sweaters at the thrift stores nearly as much as I did when I lived in suburban Chicago. So there's that. And yes, I can wash those and purposely felt them and other felted, wool fabrics, but sometimes they are like superwash or something, and they don't, because people don't want their sweaters normally or their wool jackets to felt on purpose. But like a boiled wool, it's okay. I like it, and it works well for some things, but I just really like a true felt. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just old-fashioned. I don't know. And yeah, I could make my own with all the roving I have. But man, that's a job, especially if you're making wool sheeted sheets of wool. So, yeah, there's all that. Okie doke. I left the silk to steam while I was outside working, and it is now finished. So I'm going to rinse it and wash it. So I know it's finished because there's no color, very little color left in the dye bath. So I can set that aside. And we'll run some water here. Well, let's see what we have. It looks real pretty so far. I'm just going to put a little dish soap. Just to... Gee, I wonder what colors I like. This totally matches this ratty old Chattanooga sweatshirt that I've had forever. But no dye seems to be coming out in the dye bath, which is good because there's sapphire blue in there, and I found that tends to be one that really needs time to set. So I must have let it, just putting it up there and walking away, it was probably the best thing I could have done. All right. Oops. So there we are. I think we've got it. Now you want to be careful with wet silk. You don't want to twist it or squeeze it too much. Actually putting it between a couple towels and rolling it up in a towel, which I do not have handy other than the one that I have on my counter, is probably the best way to get the water out of it. I don't know if putting it in a salad spinner is an issue, but let's see here. It's really going to be hard to show you. Well, we'll wait till it dries. It's going to show more when it's dry, but it's purple and blue. It's my colors. It's got a lot of modeling, which is from scrunch it in and into that smaller container. So I think it's going to be very pretty. I'm going to squeeze it out in something. I hope you can see me and I'm not like way full close up. Anyway, I'll squeeze it out in a towel or something and put it on my rack over here to dry. And when it's dry or almost dry, I will press it on a silk setting to, iron out all the wrinkles, and it should be a pretty piece of fabric. This was fun. I'm definitely going to do more. I have more silk fabric in there, and since I have this dye pot with just sitting here, we might grab a couple more colors and do a couple more pieces of silk, because if I dye the silk, then I'll have it to do something with, and then it'll give me a reason to buy more silk, to dye more silk or wool or whatever. Right? Right. Let me know what you think, and if you want to see more of these. Bye. And if you want a real tutorial on how to do this step by step, because I think I could do that, and I think this method seems to work, and I couldn't really find a lot on that. cats on the counter, which I don't approve of. Get off. Thank you. So anyway, peace out. Love you. Bye. Okay, well, that's one of the things I've been up to lately. There's other things happening around here that may or may not take away from my video time. Not that I've been very consistent since my October surprise, my month of Samhain, 31 days of Samhain, whatever I did in October, where I was on here every day. So I apologize, but I'm gonna get back. I gotta do something, but I might be much busier in my life in general coming up very soon. Actually, I am busy this week. Today is my only day home this week, but sometimes that is beneficial to me because I do better when I'm busy, because then I start to actually plan and organize and schedule things rather than when my day is just open to me to do whatever I please. I do random things and then I don't video them because I'm not thinking about it, and I don't ever get around to editing because it's like the last thing on my list. So if you're seeing this, that means I got off. Well, I didn't get off my duff. I sat down on my duff and opened my computer and edited some things and got them on the internet for you. So, I mean, I have stuff from like a month ago that I guess I'm going to see how outdated it is and get it to you. But anyway, because I haven't introduced, there are new family members here that maybe if you've watched some of my shorts, you might have met a little bit, but she's very shy. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen the new family member. And then I have a new toy that came into my life recently. I have a whole idea of how I want to introduce my new toy to you. That sounds dirty. It's not. With a Christmas project, but now things are getting busy again in a different direction in my life. And I don't know if I'm going to have time to get that done, made, and filmed, because I'm not going to be home most of this week. Yeah. Welcome to my chaos. So I really wish the new family member would just decide to come out here and say hello and jump up on my lap. But she's never jumped up on my lap yet. And she's lived here for a month and a half, 5 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. She came to me right after Halloween. So whatever that is. And whenever this comes out, it might be a year from now. No, it won't be. Yeah, I had some new thrift store finds. I got to go through my videos and see what I have filmed for you and what I have, because I haven't been sharing much. But all right, know that I love you. Know that I think about you often. And I wish I just had a film camera crew following me around like a reality TV show and somebody else doing the editing and putting it up. But at 415 subscribers and, no real job, well, that's probably what's changing, just to bury the lead there. I can't afford to have cameramen. Yeah. Some people want a pool boy. I want a cameraman. I wouldn't be adverse to a camera woman, a camera person. I want a camera operator and an editor. That's what I need. If my cats only had thumbs. I'll leave you with that wise thought. Okay. Peace out. Love you. Bye.